Julian Saporiti. 2. I teach sections of the Honors Colloquium, the freshman class, and I usually get to create my own course once a year. I have a Bachelor in Music from the Berklee College of Music. I have a Master's in American Studies from Wyoming, and I am a PhD candidate at Brown University for ethnomusicology. I teach because it's one of the best things you can do as a human being to make the world a better place. It's a very cheesy answer, but I think it's completely true. I think it's very easy to, I don't know, be selfish or self-motivated with your time, and teaching kind of has a default mechanism where you have to be a selfless person, and you have to use the knowledge which I've been privileged enough to gain to help other people, and so that's why I teach. So I'm a musician by trade, first and foremost. I was a rock and roll singer for like 7 years, just touring all over the world in a band. And so I think my teaching method's a little different from some folks, and I improvise a lot. I certainly can lecture on the topics that I need to, but I really believe that, especially in the honors program, it's my job to facilitate discussion as much as lead it and bring out the intellectual possibilities and potential of my students through letting them have as much freedom and creativity as possible. So it's a mix of discussion and lecture, and I tend to do a lot more group activities than most teachers, and I find those to be very helpful in community building and bonding between the class, which ultimately makes for a more satisfying experience. I don't value tests at all. That's just my personal belief. I can't stand, especially standardized tests. I don't believe in that whatsoever, and I will never support that. Certainly writing assignments. I think part of my job as a freshman English teacher is to get all of our students up to a certain level of writing, which then they can hopefully blossom into more creative pieces as they go along, or allow them to be successful in the professional world where writing is a tool that's necessary. So I definitely value that, but like I said, I value creativity and a safe space for exploring, which I think especially for freshmen is what college should be all about. And so a lot of my assignments are ranging from going to get coffee with someone in your class who you don't know, to going to some of the lectures on social justice or diversity or LGBT rights on campus, or last night we all went to do karaoke at Roxy's. So I value those as much as I do any assignment in class. I don't really believe in answers. I believe in definitely the process, having fun during the process, and growing from the process. I think if you're looking for answers, especially at age 18, you're going to be up a creek real fast. I don't have any answers, and I'm 29. So. Because a lot of what we do at Wyoming is STEM-based, sciences and maths, and we are making a big push for our engineering program to become top tier, and that's all well and fine. As a musician, I don't really understand that, but I understand the need and the purpose for those fields. And what the honors program can do for those who aren't in the humanities like myself, or aren't in the arts, it can offer them really high-level discussion-based classes on wonderful topics, ranging from Shakespeare to Japanese culture to my classes on songwriting or youth and revolt. And I think that's highly important to break up sort of the monotony of your major. If you're doing math all day long, it's really nice to go take a Japanese culture class and use another part of your brain. And I think that's the best thing that our honors program has going for it. Well, it all goes back to Miss McKnight in 7th grade, because she was patient and she cared. And I think at the end of the day, we all need to be more like that, and we need more people like that in our lives. And especially at this liminal state, this transitional state for college kids, 18 through 22, by and large. It's one of the it's the hardest time of your life. It's also the most fun, but it can be terribly depressing. It can be really difficult to deal with. You know, introduction to drugs and alcohol, introduction to sex, introduction to being alone, all these things compounded at once. So I always try to keep Miss McKnight in mind and her just wonderful angelic disposition of patience and encouragement, and try to bring that to teach it. So she's definitely been the most influential teacher. And I think any professor I've had after that who's really influenced my life has had a little bit of that Miss McKnight, that patience and creating that space for you to be yourself, but also helping to nudge you in the right direction, whichever direction's right for you. And I think there's nothing more a teacher can do than that.
Yeah, the effective and the effective would be long. So it was.
Oh, that.
Or should these be combined?
That is one I don't think
Could you tell me what the?
Yeah, we had writing, sense,
Oh yeah, we need
music
to
slash
talk about that.
Just respond to emails I get.
And then writing. Sarah, right? Writing. We already established.
Would you like to talk about this? Well, this is
Yeah.
cool. Okay.
So sign up for one of those committees unless you don't want to be on a committee, because we don't want you to like show up and not do it. Yeah. So yeah, do that, or you can come to our writing committees. We already sent out this one. So yeah, sign up and figure it out.
Do you remember that this is 20% of your final grade, and it's not graded on how good the play is overall. It's graded each one of you individually on the effort you put together, that score combined, then divided by the number of people in the class. So, right, if 10 of you give 100%, and 9 of you or 8 of you give 0%, it's not going to be a very good score. Right, so that's the way we're grading it. So make sure you do something and you participate heavily. Any questions? Jake, do you have questions? I wrote it down. It's my job as super teacher. So yeah, just in general, make sure that you guys are connecting on all these assignments. Like the goal here is to build